If you've been trying to create content consistently, then you know how time consuming and also labor intensive it is, especially for YouTube long form content. From ideation, research, scripting, to designing a thumbnail, and then filming and editing, the whole process can easily take hours, even for a simple YouTube long form video. I myself have been posting YouTube videos on my main channel for about 2 years now, and recently I've been feeling a little bit burnt out because I've been handling most of that process myself manually. So my idea of what I want to do now is I want to leverage AI, specifically with Claude Code, to build an AI content operating system that can automate 90% of the work. My plan is to build different AI agents that can help me with each part of the process. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps as I build this out. So if you want to follow along and set the system up for yourself, you can as well. Everything I do in this video, you can replicate it, and I will also provide all the necessary resources down in the description below, so you have everything that you need. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so the first step is to download Claude Code if you haven't downloaded it already. So we can come to Google and just search Visual Studio Code. And let's come to this website right here. And you can just download it for your operating system. So I have a Mac, so I would just click on download for Mac OS. And once you download and install the Visual Studio Code, so we can come down here and right click and just click on new window. And if this is your first time setting up your Claude Code, what you need to do is to come to the extension tab and just search Claude Code. And then you should see this as the first one. Make sure that it's directly from Anthropic, so it's the official one. And you just need to click on install. And once you have installed this, you will see this little orange Claude icon here on the top right. So the next step we are going to do is that we are going to come here to the Explorer tab, click on this, and let's click on Open Folder. And I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it AI Content OS. Click on Create, and let's click on Open. So then we're working inside of this AI Content OS folder, as you can see here. And then the next step, let's come here to click on this orange Claude Code icon here so that we can open up the Claude Code chat. We can close this. And the next what we are going to do is that we are basically going to talk to Claude Code like in a conversation, describing exactly what we want to do. Basically just given a prompt describing the outcome that we want, what we want to build, and then Claude Code is going to walk us through step by step. And how we are going to talk to Claude Code is to use this software called Wispr Flow. So there's the website here for Wispr Flow. It makes everything so much easier because it allows you to speak to Claude Code instead of having to type everything, which is a huge time saver. So I'll list this in the description below. And once you have downloaded, installed it, and then you will have access to it. So let's come back to Claude Code. And then we are just going to tap on the function key twice, and then we are going to be able to speak to it. So what I want to do is to create a AI Content OS system that can automate 90% of my work in terms of social media creation. And I'm going to start with automating my YouTube content. My plan is to build 7 different agents that can help me with each part of the production process. And the 7 agents that I'm thinking of right now is number 1, I would need a channel analyst, which is to study my channel or any of my competitors' channel. I would want to have a trend scout to find winning, trending videos or topic. I would want a script writer to help me write a YouTube script based on my own voice and tone, and also a thumbnail designer to research winning thumbnails and also design my thumbnails. Then the next agent would be a video editor that can help me remove most of my bad takes and do most of the video editing for me, as well as a daily reporter that can provide me a daily update. That could be either from my email or a dashboard that we're going to build. And lastly, I want a dashboard that would display all the agents working so I can see all the updates and progress of my videos. So the automated part that I am envisioning is that the agents can help me find winning video topics, look at my competitors and also the outliers of their videos, compile them in a list. So I would need that to be shown on either a Google Sheet or on a dashboard where I can see the outliers videos. And then once the outlier videos have been identified, then a script will be automatically written based on my voice and tone. And then a thumbnail will also be designed. And I'm thinking of maybe 2 to 3 variations of the thumbnail, so we could actually pick and choose which one would align the most based on the packaging of the video, which is the title and the thumbnail, as well as the hook. And I would want those information to be either emailed to me daily so that I could see exactly what's happening every day, what's trending, as well as maybe it can be displayed on like a dashboard or some sort. So I could actually look at the dashboard and know exactly what topic or video that I can make on that day. So the rest of my workflow would be me just reviewing the info, make minor tweaks if necessary, and I would just be able to record and then edit maybe in Descript. And I can also maybe connect the Descript API or MCP, whichever that could work. That would allow Claude Code to help me edit my video as well. So that would be the ideal workflow. So this is a process that I'm envisioning so that I can automate most of the tedious part. And then I can just look at what's working every day and then be able to record the video so I can stay consistent with producing long form content on my YouTube channel. That's the main purpose of it. So I just wanted to make that clear. And a side note, in terms of the script writer, we will need to have some way where I can upload my past video script. So you could actually store on file of my voice and tone, the way that I speak, so that the script generator will sound like me. This will be like an ongoing process as I write more scripts and can provide as a reference. Those will be on files to help you generate a script that would closely matches my voice and tone. In terms of the winning thumbnail, we need to come up with a process of looking at the winning thumbnail. I don't want to copy exactly, but I want to take like elements that are really good from the winning thumbnails and apply it to our own thumbnail. So we need to have a process with that as well. And I will also provide a document that has some of the structure and the framework that I have previously written down that I think will be useful to apply to these agents that we are going to create. So I want you to analyze that along with all the information that I'm providing to you so that we could actually come up with the exact action plan and checklist of everything that we need to do in order to implement this system that I'm envisioning. So let me paste that in first so that we have pasted all the text here, as you can see. So the thing with the prompt is you want to be as detailed as you can. You want to give as much detail to Claude Code so you can actually understand exactly what you're trying to do. And also a couple side notes is in terms of research, I do have a vidIQ account, which I believe they also have a MCP that we can plug into in order to do proper research. And in terms of researching, I would also want you to analyze my current channel. My current channel is youtube.com/Kumo Explains. So that is my new channel that I am trying to grow. It is AI related. And when you analyze my past videos, I want you to focus on only AI related videos. Some of my earlier videos are not AI related, but I have since pivoted into wanting to grow based on AI related topics. So I will only want you to analyze the videos that are based on AI topics. And going forward, I would like to analyze what has been working well on my channel, as well as any other competitors. So we will also need to come up with a list of competitors. There are a bunch of AI related channels that I already follow. So I would want you to work on that as well, so that we will have a list of channels that I could draw inspirations from and find winning topics from. So that's all I have for now. And you can ask me any questions if you need anything to be clarified in order for you to feel 95% confident that you could do a good job on this task. So let's go ahead to send this in. So as you can see, there's everything that I spoke about, and then Claude Code is going to process that, and then it's going to let me know what it thinks. Okay, it's saying, I mentioned a framework document that I previously written. Can you share that now? Yes, I'll paste it in the next message. What's your preferred dashboard or UI for the Ops Center? This determines the tech stack. A web app, which is a local or hosted web dashboard we built from scratch. It's most flexible and best looking. So I would go with the web app. I think that would be working the best. For thumbnail design, which tool should the thumbnail designer agent output to? Canva MCP is already available in this session. So let's use Canva. Canva is a really good tool, also really easy to use. Our Descript and vidIQ MCP is already connected in Claude Code. Or do we need to get those set up as part of this build? I'm not sure, but this is a very easy fix. I'll just go with not sure, please check. And let's submit the answers. And then it's saying good news on the MCP. I can see the vidIQ, Descript, and Canva are all connected. So the MCP is basically just like a connector between different apps to Claude Code. So let's say if you want to connect the MCP to these apps, you can basically just talk to Claude Code and say, I want to connect to the MCP to a certain apps, and then it's going to walk you through the exact process of how to do it. It sounds kind of fancy, but it's just basically a connector that allows Claude Code to connect to the different apps. So it can actually access them and do work on your behalf. One gap I want to flag before we plan: your video editor agent is the most technically constrained of the 7. Descript MCP lets me trigger AI-powered edits, remove filler words, trim sentences, rearrange clips via text. But you still need to be logged into Descript, and the project needs to exist there first. It'll work well, just want to set expectations that it's semi-automated rather than fully hands-off. Now paste your framework document, and I'll synthesize everything: your 7-agent vision and the framework structure and your channel focus into one complete action plan and implementation checklist. Great, so let me look for the structure document. So I'll go ahead to paste my structure document here. And again, I will also link that in the description below if you want to check that out to see if it's any useful for you. It's basically just a structure of different agents, of just more information of how I want them to be set up. Okay, so here we are looking at the implementation checklist. So we are just going to go through all of them in this video. And if you see a .env file, that is just basically where we can store all the API keys without exposing them. So that's like a hidden file that will store all your keys so that no one would have access to it. And then it's going to upload the past script. Google Cloud, you do this one, I'll guide you step by step. Great. Brand color setup, phase 1. So here we have phase 1. Agent 1, Agent 2, and then phase 2, which is the script writer, Agent 3. Agent 4 is a thumbnail designer. Okay, everything looks good. I just want to mention, for the thumbnail generation, we can export to Canva, but I don't want Canva to design it. Just be clear. Actually, we should export into a .png or .jpeg. And the generation, I would like to use Google's Gemini. I believe I have used Google's Gemini to generate images, specifically with Nano Banana. I've had good experience with that. So I will also include the Google's Gemini API key in the .env file that we will create in the future. In terms of the script, it's important to find my voice and tone. And I believe I have previously provided a few scripts. I believe 3 scripts of my past YouTube videos that performed really well. So I want you to be able to make sure to find that as well. Once the winning script has been approved, we also would want to come up with the teleprompter ready version. So it could help me be more efficient with recording. Okay, before we move on, I want you to provide me a brief of everything that we did in this session, and then create some sort of implementation plan or checklist that we could actually follow. So basically will be all the steps that we will need to complete in order to set the system up. You could do that in an HTML format where I could clearly see each step. So we defined the system, 7-agent AI content OS system for my channel, focusing on Claude and AI content only. We clarified the thumbnail generation. I uploaded my 3 voice script. So those are basically the 3 scripts that have performed well in my channel in the past. So I'm just using them as a reference. So here are the 7 agents. Here's a confirmed tech stack. So every tool that we are going to be needing and also be connecting is going to be here. And then here is what we have done so far. And here are the rest of the checklist that we are going to be doing. So here we have the phase 1, the foundation setup. So we are going to set the full project folder structure, create the env template with all the required keys, create the Claude.md project context file, and then we are going to connect Google Cloud Project and connect all the API keys. So here is basically the checklist of everything that we are going to be doing, right? So everything's super clear. And here's phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and then phase 5, as well as phase 6. So those are the checklist, and we are going to build this out step by step. But for right now, we are going to take a short break. And once I come back, we are going to resume on building this out. All right, so here we are looking at the updated implementation plan. So this is what we did in the previous session. And before we start, we are going to have to get these ready. The channel URL, determine our ideal viewer, or ICA, which stands for ideal customer avatar. We need to get the headshots ready, set up Google Sheets, come up with the competitor list, determine brand color, set up all the API keys, and also determine the preferred send time. And if we scroll down here, here is what we're looking at, the system architecture. So here is the different agents that we are going to be setting up. So just a recap, here we're looking at the channel analyst, the trend scout, a script writer, a thumbnail designer, a video editor, a daily reporter, and also we are going to keep track of everything on the dashboard. So basically every section is responsible for like a specific part of the production process. And then here we're looking at the confirmed tech stack. Basically all the tools that we're going to be using. We're going to be using vidIQ, which is the research tool for YouTube, the Gmail MCP, Descript for video editing, and then Google Sheets for the memory layer. And when we scroll down here, we can see the actual cost of this system. So this is what it actually will cost us, which is really good information to know. So Claude API will cost us about $15 to $40. The YouTube data API is free. There's a pretty high quota. So we get 10,000 units a day for free. So that's more than enough. The Gmail API is free via the Google Cloud. The Google Sheets API is free as well. And then we have the Gemini API, which will cost us $5 to $15 per month. And that's for the thumbnail generation. So that's pretty cheap per thumbnail. The vidIQ, we already have an existing plan. So this cost me, I think, about $15 or $10 a month. So that's something that I have already subscribed. So that's relatively inexpensive as well. And then we have Descript, and I already have, which costs about $24 a month. And lastly, we have BPS, which is optional, which is a basic server. And this is only needed if we are running outside of Claude Code. So I think right now we don't need that, but just in case if we need that in the future. So the total cost for this setup for these agents is going to be around $85 per month. And this includes all tools, including Descript. And if we were to compare this to hiring like a human team, we're looking at between researchers, social media managers, script writer, thumbnail designer, and also the video editor. We're looking at easily it's going to cost us $4,000 to $6,000 per month if we were to hire like an actual media team to do all this work. In comparison to the AI content system that we are setting up here, which is only going to cost us approximately $85 a month. So that is the system that we are going to be setting up next. All right, so let's begin to build this out. So let's come back to Claude Code here, and then I will grab the link to the implementation plan, which is the HTML file here. I'll just copy it, and then I will paste it into Claude Code, and then I'm going to say, here is the implementation plan. So can you walk me through step by step how to set this up? And we are going to build this out, and you're going to guide me through each step. We're going to be using the implementation plan as the guide and also to keep track of our progress. So let's go ahead to go with phase 1 plan. So step 1 is the .env template. Step 2 is the Google Cloud setup. Takes about 30 minutes. Step 3 is to create a Google Sheet named Kumo Content OS. And step 4 is to add my headshots. Step 5 is to have the sheet ID and credential.json. So let's go ahead to type in yes to get started. Then here we have the .env file. So the .env file is basically a file where you can keep track of all your API key. So when it's like has a dot in front of the file, it's like hidden, so it won't be shared. So I'll just show you this in a sec. As you can see here, this is where I would paste my API key. This is where it will be stored. So this is all the different tools that would require me to provide the API key in order to be accessed. So I would just go ahead to grab the different API keys and then paste it into the respective tool. Okay, so that's the purpose of the .env file. And you can also see here on the right side, you will see never commit this file to Git. So this file, like the .env file, will not be shared. So let me go ahead to pause this video so I could actually go grab my API keys and insert them into this .env file. And then here we're looking at the structure. Structure is complete. Here's what was just created. So this is the AI Content OS folder. We have the .env file, which is where we're going to fill in the API keys. The git ignore protects the .env file and the other files from Git. And then we have the assets headshots, where we're going to be stored our headshots, operations, tools. So this is basically what our folder structure is going to look like. So next we are going to be creating our Google Cloud project account. So let's copy this and let's go to our Google Cloud account. So basically whatever steps that Claude is providing to us, we are just going to follow it in order to build this out. So let's go to create a new project named Kumo Content OS. So we're going to copy this. And let's say if we are here and we don't know where is the create a new project button, what we can do, you can just like literally screenshot this and then we can paste the image here. Click on open. What you can do is to just copy this, like right click the image, and then come back here to press on Command V. And then I can just ask, where is the create a new project button? So whenever you're stuck on anything, you can just literally take a screenshot, paste it into Claude Code, and ask it. Click on Claude Calendar in the top left, the project selector drop down. Here we go. We will see a new project button in the top right corner. Okay, so here we go. New project. So here is where we're going to name our new project, Kumo Content OS. And then for the parent resource, I'm not sure what to fill out. I'm going to do the same thing. Just copy this image, paste into Claude Code. What do I put as the parent resource? So we can leave it as no organization. That's correct for a personal Google account. Just click create. Here we go. Okay, so next we are going to enable the 3 APIs. In the left sidebar, go to APIs and services. So here we have API and services and click on library. Search for and enable each of these one at a time. So let me copy this. Let me search for this, the YouTube Data API version 3. So let me click on enable. Okay, so next we're going to search for the Google Sheet API. Let's come back to the API library and just paste in the Google Sheets API. Here we go. And let's click on enable. And then we have the Gmail API. So let's copy this. Let's come back to the library. Gmail API. Here we go. Click on enable. So now the Gmail API is enabled as well. So all 3 APIs have been enabled. Okay, so next we are going to be creating the service account. In the left sidebar, click IAM and admin. So let's click on create service account. Let's click on create and continue. And let's screenshot this in terms of the permission because I am not sure. So we are just going to continue to ask Claude Code. So basically every step of the way, you're not sure, you can just copy the screenshot and then paste it into Claude Code and ask it what you need to do. Click basic in the left column and select editor on the right column. There we go. And then click on continue. Okay, let's click on done. Okay, so now we have the service account is created and enabled. Now get the JSON key. So we can click on this, go to the keys tab, add key, create new key. And let's create the JSON file. And we're going to name it this name. So just copy it. There we have the name, and then we are going to save it here. Okay, so here we are in the AI Content OS. And let's save this. And if you want to make sure, we can just come here to the file, hold down on option. I'm using a Mac, so it's the option button, and then right click it, and then we could copy this file as path name. So I can just paste this in and then type done. Okay, it's saying that it's in place. Now you need 2 API keys to fill into your .env file. Okay, so let's go back to Google Cloud, APIs, and Services Credentials. Let's click on Create Credentials and click on API key. Okay, let's change the name to Kumo YouTube API. Okay, so let's click on Create. So let's click on this and then filter by YouTube Data API v3. Check this. Okay. And that should be good. Okay, and then scroll down and let's click on Create. So next we are going to come into the .env file, and then we're going to grab the API key and then basically just paste it here. Then when you're done, just say done. So next we are going to get the Gemini API key. So let's go to aistudio.google.com and just follow the steps. Just get API key on the top left, create API key, copy the key, and then paste it into the .env file. Let's type in done. Okay, we need to fix the email, so we need to just copy this inside into our .env file. Then please check. So now we have all three keys are in, and the service account email is correct. The only remaining placeholder is Google Sheet ID, and we'll fill that in next. Okay, so let's go to Google Sheet, and we're going to name it Kumo Content OS. Let's click on Share. Anyone with link, and select Editor. Let's copy this link. No, actually, we are going to paste this email in. We're going to add this email as an editor and click on Send. So now we are looking at .env is complete. All keys are in. Now I'll install the Python dependencies and set up the 4 tabs in your Google Sheet. Let me check if you have Python and the required packages available first. So let's click on Yes. So all dependencies installed. Now I'll write a quick setup script to create the 4 tabs with the correct headers in your Google Sheet. So here we're looking at the Google Sheet here, and it should be able to access it and create the tabs. Okay, so here we have all the tabs created in the Google Sheet. We have date, platform, channel, title, views, channel average, outlier score, URL, and also the hook and the key angle. And we have completed these steps so far. So next we are going to be adding the headshots. Let's add in the headshots. Okay, so now we have copied over the 2 headshots. Both headshots are in place. Both have transparent background, which is perfect for pillow compositing. So here we have phase 1 fully complete, and now we are ready to move on into phase 2, building the shared Python tools layer. I'll build these 6 files. Go ahead. So here are the different tools that we are going to be building. This is to read and write Google Sheet. This one is to access the YouTube Data API. And then we have image generation, read your voice script, centralized logging, and then we have the exponential backup for API calls, whatever that means. So we are just going to let Claude Code do its thing. So now we have phase 2 completed, ready to move on into phase 3. So for phase 2, we have all the tools, the different tools that we're going to be using. So these are all going to be created. Even found my channel, currently at 509 subs, 2,300 average views. So that's good. Okay, so let's come to take a look at our progress. So phase 1 is all completed. That is amazing. We still need to write the 1 to 2 sentence ideal viewer description for the brand voice tab. That's fine. Phase 2 is all completed. That's amazing. And then we are just going to be working starting phase 3. Want to quickly write that ideal viewer description before we move on, or skip it for now and jump into phase 3? We could write it. So we're going to answer, who are they? What's their relationship with AI right now? What's the number 1 frustration they have? Okay, so we're going to answer that. My content is for anyone who is non-technical with AI, just like myself, but they want to learn about AI so they don't get left behind, with a special emphasis on business owners, because I think that is a very underserved demographics. And question number 2, what's the relationship with AI right now? I want to focus on mostly both complete beginners or people who have tried it, but they feel stuck and they want an easier way to implement what they learn. And then what's the number 1 frustration they have? I would say feeling overwhelmed, learning too many tools, but not enough implementation, and having a hard time to discern what is actually useful. Okay, so here we have the ideal viewer description. Non-technical creators and business owners who want to use AI to save time and stay competitive, but feel overwhelmed by how fast everything is moving and don't know where to start. They've heard of Claude, but haven't made it work for them yet. They need someone to show them exactly how, step by step, without the hype. So let's go with that. And we have the ideal viewer description completed. So next we are going to be moving on to phase 3. Okay, so I have finished building out the AI Content OS system, and that took about 4 to 5 hours, I would say. So here's what I got. So let me show you exactly what I got here. There was a lot of back and forth between making different changes and making minor tweaks, but I have the version 1 done, and now it's fully functional. And I think going forward, I will save a lot of time in terms of researching for the right topics to make videos on, and also scripting, because scripting takes a long time. So let me show you what I got. So this is the Content OS implementation plan that we looked at. Everything here is done. So the channel analyst, trend scout, script writer, thumbnail designer, and then we have daily reporter and the dashboard. So 95% of this is already built out, I would say. There's still some minor tweaks that I will continue to make adjustments, like over time, to make this like even better as I use it more. For example, I could add in more scripts continuously so that Claude can, really learn my voice and tone. So it will sound like me more and more over time. So this will be a continuous process, but at least right now I have like version 1 done and it's fully functional. So let me show you the first thing is the channel analysis. So I pretty much just analyzed my own channel called Kumo Explains, which is the channel that you're watching now. This is the current stats. I made a minor pivot a few months ago to AI focus. So I posted 29 videos so far. Currently, I have about 500 subscribers and my average views, and this is for long form only, is about 2,400. And here's the section where we analyze the competitors' titles and the patterns. So you can see the different title structures, what's been working, what are the trigger phrases, what are the content themes. So right now I am doing a lot of tutorials and deep dives into Cowork, Claude Code, and also different agents. And what we want to avoid here is generic AI news or hype titles or overly long titles without time markers or benefit statements. And then it's able to analyze like the top 10 videos in my niche. So these are really good reference points or just inspirations that I could draw from. And here are the competitors snapshot sorted by average views. So these are all the channels that I look at for inspirations and also kind of look at what's been really working well for the different creators. So these are all the, bigger creators in my niche and that they are doing really well. So definitely a lot that I could learn from. So here's the channel analyst, and I have this run every week so that every week I will be able to see the different updates. And then the next thing that I want to show you would be the Trend Scout, which is a very important part. The Trend Scout would pretty much search up the daily outliers, as you can see here on the spreadsheet. So basically every day it's going to run automatically when I turn on my computer. It's going to search across all my competitors here. So this is my competitors list. So far I have 28 of them here. You can see the channel, the handle, the subscribers count, and also the average views on the channel. And all this is only taking into consideration the long form content because that's what I focus on. The niche focus and also the channel URL. So this is really useful in terms of me being able to pay attention to the different creators in my niche that are doing really well. So I can keep track of what content that they're making and that I could draw inspirations from. So my idea is to just look at what works in the market, what works on YouTube, and then take the fundamentals and the principles from what's working. And then I would add in my own voice. I would add in my own opinion, customize it, and make it my own. So that is the game plan. So when we come back to the outlier tab here, this will pretty much just pull automatically each day what's working. So for example, today we are looking at a video here from JE Robo Nuggets, and the outlier score is 9.86. So this would be considered like a viral outlier. There's 3 of them today. So the outlier score is calculated by taking the views on that specific video and then divided by the channel average views. So for example, this video we're looking at here has 98,000 views. His channel average is 14,000, close to 15,000. So we would just pretty much divide this number by this number. And then I will times it by a size weight. So size weight, you can see here, under 200 subscribers, I will times it by 1.5. And for bigger channels, I think the data might be a bit diluted because they're like bigger channels. So I would times it by 1. So the videos from the bigger channels will get less weight. I just think like logically it makes more sense that way. So the relatively smaller channels will get a higher weight. So that's how the formula that I came up with. And we're only going to look at the last 20 long form videos on the specific channels. And we're going to exclude shorts. And the look back window is going to be the last 14 days so that we're only looking at recent videos. So that's pretty much the metrics that we're using. And I think it's going to work well. And to show you this example, we have 1, 2, 3 viral outliers today. When the score exceeds 5, I would consider that to be a viral outlier, as you can see here. And when the score is between 2 to 4.9, would be considered strong. So these are also possible video ideas so that I could just come in here and pretty much just like read the title and know exactly what it's about. So Notebook LM 2.0 is here. This could be a very strong topic. And then we have Mid-Journey built what? So that could be another one. But so far, I think today the winner would be a Claude design related video because that is the highest score we have. So every day I have it set up where I will receive this email automatically in my inbox and I can see the top outliers here. And then when we click on see all outliers, we could see the same spreadsheet that we were just looking at. And then we would see today's video opportunity, which is the Claude design finally works. That would be like our title or suggested title. And you will see the analysis why this would be a good topic. So we are looking at the winning topic. The script is automatically generated. And then we have the hook here, step 1, step 2, step 3. And I will also have a way to generate thumbnails in the future. But right now, my thumbnail process is still more automated. And I'll show you that in a second. Because when I come back here, which is the daily command center, we see the top outlier. We can watch the video if we want to. And then for the full script, we can just click here. And here is actually our full script. We have 5 different title options, the thumbnail concepts, the hook. So the email version is basically like a simplified version. And then once I click the link in the email, and it will take me directly to this dashboard. Or I can just like directly come to the dashboard. The email is just like a little reminder for me. And then we have the full production script here. So this is basically my full script of this video. And this was all generated automatically based on the winning topic, which was the Claude design video, and also based on my own voice and tone. Because I have supplied Claude like 4 of my scripts that I have written before for YouTube and that have performed well. So it drafted out the actual full script based on my voice and tone. So this is going to save me a ton of time because, as you know, scripting is definitely one of the most time-consuming thing in my experience for YouTube. So this is what we have so far. Let's go back to the dashboard. And then when we come down here, we would be able to see the thumbnail references. This is the actual outline video's thumbnail. So I have it like generated here. So this would give me a good reference on how I want to make my own thumbnail. Because the thing is, I don't want to totally copy. I see this so like too often on YouTube where, you know, someone finds like an outlier or a winning video. They just like completely like copy exactly the design. I'm not a big fan of that. So what I have it done is I added like in a download button here, and then I could download this thumbnail to make any modification. And what I also have is I pulled like 10 similar videos. So I have more references to work with. So based on the video topic, these are the similar videos that are performing really well. So what I can do here is also take into consideration what's their thumbnail. So I could literally just take maybe different elements from different thumbnails and then incorporate into my own. I find it to be much better because then I'm just not like copying, right? I think it's really important for me to add in my own twist to what's already working to make something that's like more authentic to myself, if that makes sense. So for the thumbnail process is still more manual because I want more control, but ideally I want to develop a way where I can automate this part as well. But for right now, it will actually take me to my Kumo Studio, which is like a tool that I have built as well. When I go to thumbnail generator, I'm able to generate a thumbnail. So let me just maybe use this as an example. So I could choose a headshot. So I could click on preview and that's a headshot. And what I will do is to provide a reference. So let's say if I come back here, I do like this though. I think it's very clean. It's like more my style, like no hype, just straightforward type of design. So I will download this. So here is where I will enter my video topic or title. So let me just go with Claude design finally works. Here's what I actually changed. Let's just go with that for now. And then here is where I will upload the thumbnail. So that is the thumbnail. If I want, I could also like analyze this thumbnail. Let's just click on this and I'll just show you what it does. I find it when I design thumbnail like this is a lot better than just let Claude design on its own, at least, you know, for right now. And then you'll see a breakdown of the thumbnail. So this is a clean tech tutorial thumbnail using pointing subject. to direct attention towards a product UI mockup, bold title, leverage Anthropic branding's color to establish context quickly. And you see the different explanation on layouts, colors, types, and elements, as well as mood and composition. So this breakdown is really good for helping you articulate what you want your thumbnail to be, because the more detailed you are with your prompts, the better output that you'll get, right? So what I like from this thumbnail is what I'm going to say is I like the clean tech tutorial vibe of this thumbnail. And I will also use my pointing picture, but instead of my picture on the left, I actually want to place myself on the right side. Since this is a similar topic, what I want to do is also use the same UI of Claude Design. I will actually provide a screenshot for you so you could actually incorporate that in. And also really like the Claude logo. I feel like it really helps the thumbnail stand out. The Claude Design, I feel like it could be more bold. As you can see here, the Claude Design 2.0 in the reference, they seem a bit incongruent. So I would want mine to be like sharper and bold throughout between Claude Design and 2.0. So the other thing that I really like about this thumbnail is the structure. So what I would also want to incorporate into my thumbnail is that I want a big Claude logo. I want the bold text of Claude Design and also the UI mockup of what Claude Design looks like. So let me take a screenshot of Claude Design and then come down here. Let me just screenshot this. So we could use this, and then what we can do is to include in the assets to include in thumbnail. And I'll also add in the additional instructions. I've uploaded a screenshot of the actual Claude Design UI so that we can incorporate that into our thumbnail. You can make the corners more rounded. I think a rounded corner on the thumbnail of this specific UI photo will look good. So that's what we have so far. And then let's come back here to see the different thumbnail. I actually like the dark background like this too. So as an example, I'll just show you what I would normally do, just so I can show you how this thumbnail tool works. So I can click on add another reference. I will upload this. And what I like about this thumbnail, I like this thumbnail of the darker background. I think it's different from reference A. Reference A, I'm taking the structure, the overall structure, but reference B, I like the color scheme with a dark background and also the lighting effect from the screenshot. It's also very appealing. I feel like it kind of makes the thumbnail pops a lot more. It makes it more clickable. So I actually would like to incorporate that. So in terms of the background, let's also do a dark neutral background. Something like reference B, I think would work really well. And in terms of the text of Claude Design 2.0, make sure that they are cohesive now since we are going to be using a dark background. And then once I describe what I like, I can upload the instructions. So this is done. So I'll just click on preview prompt. And then with this prompt, I would just click on generate. And then the thumbnail is going to be generated for me. Yeah, so I think the text kind of messed it up a little bit. Yeah, because there's too much text. So I don't really like this. So let's refine it. Overall structure is fine, but I think it is too much text. The ratio of the text and the UI makes no sense. The structure, we should really follow reference A. The UI mockup should be a lot bigger, and it should be the main hero image on the left side of the thumbnail. The current color scheme and design is actually good, but Claude Design 2.0 should be on the right side of the Claude logo, not beneath it. So that way we could use up this space, right? And then the words massive upgrades, it could be smaller and it could actually overlap the UI mockup, because then if we don't do that, we probably won't have enough space to fit that. And the arrow pointing to the UI mockup also needs to be placed in somewhere that makes sense if we were to make those changes. So those are the changes, and let's just click refine. And let's see what it's going to come up with. So what I find is with generating thumbnail with AI, you do need to go back and forth a couple of times. Usually, sometimes I do get it right the first time, but most of the time I do need to tweak it a couple of times in terms of getting what I want. Yeah, so something like this I think is a lot better. It's a lot cleaner. I would probably make this a little bit bigger, but overall I think this is pretty decent. So I'll just download this for now, and then I'll just look at it. I'll see what else that I would want to modify. But the whole purpose of this is to just show you what's possible with AI. This is a system that I'm building and continuously refining in terms of being able to help me automate a lot of these processes. So that is the thumbnail designer. All right, so in terms of editing, right now I use something called Descript. This is what it looks like here. What I used to use mainly was Final Cut Pro, but I mainly switched it to Descript is because it's just so much faster with most of my edits. I still use Final Cut Pro for some projects, but in terms of being able to remove bad takes or remove like multiple takes and also the dead spaces, Descript is so much faster, and it has saved me so much time. And you can also edit so much faster because it is text-based. In addition to like the timeline here, you can also edit by text. Let's say if I want to remove this part of the video, I can literally just highlight the text and that will correlate into the exact part of the video. If I hit backspace or delete, that part of the video will be deleted. So you can edit your video as if you are editing your document. So it is super easy to use, super beginner friendly. So if you're someone who is new to editing, this is definitely a really good tool to use. So let me show you exactly why this is so much faster compared to like a regular video editor. So when you first upload your video clip onto Descript, it will automatically transcribe the video. So you will see everything that's being said in the video. So what I'll do is I'll zoom out here and then I will highlight this clip. So this is a 57 minutes clip. What I'm going to do is I can come to AI tools. And first of all, I can show in word gaps. So what this is going to do is that it's going to find the word gaps, which is also called dead spaces. And we are going to look for anything that's over 3 seconds. Find all word gaps. And then I will shorten this to 0.4 seconds. So there are actually over 368 word gaps, and I can shorten all in just a click like this. When you click on shorten all, and as you can see here, shorten 368 word gaps. So right away, that cuts my video to 22.5 minutes. So just like that, all the dead space already cut out. So I think that's really useful. And next, let's come back to AI tools and let's click on remove retakes. That's another one of my favorite feature because it is super useful. We can just click on submit. So the AI is basically going to just read the document and cut out the multiple takes that you do. So as you can see here, it did a lot of the work. The video is 18.8 minutes now. So these are the multiple takes that is being cut out. So I normally don't apply them. So it stays here on the document so that if there's anything that I want to adjust or edit, I can. So I just click the back button here. I'll just close this tab. And then here is where I can just review the video. So as you can see here, the beginning part where I repeated myself several times, like, all right, the first step is to download Claude Code. Right, so I repeated that a few times. That's very normal if you have created like educational or even like any type of video to say the same thing multiple times. So what the AI tools with the remove retakes is that it's going to analyze what sentence are repeats, and then it's going to cut out the extra ones and only leave out the best take. So that alone will help you cut down so much of your editing time, because if you have edited videos before, you know that you would have to pretty much play back like that specific part and then manually cut out the extra part. So with this, you can literally just click a button and then it will remove all the extra takes. And let's say if the AI removed a sentence or a part of the sentence that you didn't want it to be removed, all you got to do is to just like highlight this part that has been removed and then just click the undo button or restored ignore text. And then that part of the video will be restored. And conversely, if you want to, let's say, remove this part instead, you can just highlight it and then just hit delete or backspace. And that part of the video will be deleted. If you want to undo, like restore that sentence, just click on Command Z, and then that will undo the delete, and then that sentence will be restored. So this tool is definitely a game changer. It's super underrated in terms of helping you to be able to edit a lot faster. So I definitely highly recommend it if you have not tried it, and I will list out a direct link in the description below. And then the daily reporter is basically just an agent that can help me run all these processes all at one time. So instead of running like 4 different agents, the one agent will be responsible running all 4, if that makes sense. And then it's going to send me the email with everything that I need in order to create content on a more consistent basis. So this is the first version of what I have built for my AI content OS. And I hope this was helpful. I try to just show the actual work that goes into building something like this. And I believe this will help me offload a lot of my manual work, especially with researching and scripting. And if you want to create something similar for your own channel, I will leave like a document down below in the description that shows all my framework, all my prompts. So you'll have everything that you need. You will customize it to your own. Yours won't look exactly like mine because you will be in a different niche. Maybe you want different processes. But in terms of the framework or the structure of the different agents, you can totally migrate over the framework and customize it to your own liking. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and consider subscribing if you haven't, and hope to see you in the next one.